at the Sony STR 6045 circa 1970, and welcome to all of you. Another vintage audio listening experience, this time featuring the demure, the elegant Sony 6045. This was one of the more challenging projects, and if you haven't had time to watch the four-part series that was done overviewing the repair and restoration, well, you missed a lot. In that particular series, we covered problems internally on the amplifier board, bad solder joints, capacitors, electrolytics that needed to be replaced. We had lighting repairs, quote unquote, that it absolutely mangled the authenticity of the unit. In addition, we had tape that was marring up the front of the glass here, a case that it looked like it had been through the trenches of World War I. Well, there were a lot of difficulties to be overcome, and on this particular unit, in order to keep it authentic, I even ended up ordering little mini lights from Russia to provide the beautiful lighting behind the jewels on here, and also for the beautiful Sony green that's the hallmark of Sony. I had to actually go to the automotive store, find the right matching paint for the light bulb, and spray coat a screw-in little bulb, and well, it finally gave us the great green that we needed to really have an authentic look. And the end result, I think, is spectacular. It's not perfect. You know, this unit has a few miles on it, but I'll tell you what, for good looks and handsomeness, you cannot beat Sony's. When all the eye candy wars, the stereo wars were breaking out in the late 70s, the early 80s, even through the mid 60s, Sony really held the course on concentrating more about what went on inside of the unit, having the double and triple gang tuning capacitors for better signal acquisition, top of the line Elna capacitors, electrolytics here, and just good quality build throughout. Well, it held them in good stead. It might not have been the best thing for sales, but I'll tell you what, people are discovering today the elegant beauty of these Sony units, and I don't think it's going to be too much longer before these units disappear at a decent price. You can get one of these in fair working order for about $100 plus shipping, which is pretty doggone good. The trick is finding one that has a really nice faceplate on it. That's the real challenge. Some people even mark the stations in their area by taking a knife and cutting little grooves in the aluminum below the corresponding mark where the station was. Well, it mars those faceplates beyond repair, and they're very expensive to rebuy if you can even find them. The other thing that's nice about the Sony is they do have that elegance that really bespeaks class without all the bells and whistles and timers and all the goo-goo gadgets and meters that have the needles running back and forth. It just was something that you were proud to have on your bookcase because it looked beautiful and it performed magnificently. If you're a member, I've been a member of the audiokarma.org website for a lot of years, and Hi-Fi Engine and a few other sites. And the consensus seems to be whenever anybody says, hey, I just picked up a Sony STR series, everybody's like, brother, you got yourself a heck of a good unit there. Take care of it and it will last forever. Well, this had a lot of problems. It was a throwaway unit, but I'm happy to say it has been brought back to life, and we're going to do a little listening today. I'll bring you in for a look at the final physical result on the outside. Managed to redo the case a little bit with Howard Restore, and I'm happy to say that turned out pretty good too. So yeah, let's have a little bit of a listening experience, and I'll bring you in and we'll overview the unit. The case that I was able to repair, you can see here that it's a veneered case, but I think it turned out pretty good. Yes, it has a few scuff marks to it. But compared to the way that it came in with a broken front piece and a lot of chips and gouges on it, I think the Howard's Restorer really did a nice job of bringing that back. As I said, the real key for these units is having nice face plates on them, and it's not always easy to find that. Aluminum can get gouged pretty easily, and you'll often find, well, I'll put it this way, you'll rarely find a unit that has that ready to go right off the shelf and without a few scratches on it. You really have to look very carefully for units that have mark-free fronts. That's really what collectors are going to pay for in the future, is having units that have very attractive fronts. Not an easy thing to do when these things have been banged around in service for, well, for 45 years. I actually had to go ahead too, and as I said, I bought those replacement little mini filament bulbs from Russia, and they really turned out quite nice. Just the right amount of degree of lightness, brightness without looking gaudy and ridiculous on the units. Same thing over here, where I had to go buy the automotive paint to restore the signal meter to that original Sony blue, that Sony green that is so attractive. So I think that you'll agree, overall, it makes a very handsome unit. Well, it's time to put our Sony STR 6045 through the paces and the vintage audio listening experience for the circa 1970 Sony STR 6045. I really enjoyed, as I said, working on the project, and I don't often have time to do a lot of listening. My ultimate dream one day is to get some really nice Sennheiser microphone headphones and just go around to all the various units in my collection, plug in, lay back in my my recliner, and just have that listening experience. As it is now, though, you know, there's many more projects ahead. Well, for our vintage audio listening piece today, I think I've picked out a very nice indie folk song. And of course, indie folk is a rather new genre that's come on the scene. It's a mix of the type of folk music that was out in the 1960s, blended with modern instruments. And the result, I think, is very striking, and it's something that I really enjoy listening to. And recently, in one of my videos, I used a song called Home, and the artist's name was Ohly, O-H-L-Y. And I had a few people message me through the channel afterward and saying, what was that song that you used in the music? Of course, I always put them in the description box, but not everybody gets down to that area of the video upload to see that. But it's a song that I think is very appropriate for the Thanksgiving holiday season, where we're going to spend time with family, and the heartwarming experience of getting into the car and dressing up in kind of your finery and going down and enjoying time together. And some verses I really like. Dad would have the old Ford warmed up before we got it. Really kind of very heartwarming things. So I hope you enjoy this rendition of Home. The artist is Ohly. And let's get listening. As usual, we will start here in the shop. I will be using the laptop to act as a MP3 player. We'll be feeding into the auxiliary circuit on the unit here and listening there. Then after a little bit in the song, we'll dim the lights, get some low light video here, and then finally we'll complete and end our listening experience on the wall of sound. Okay? I'm also going to be using the Zoom H1 recorder to record the audio. I think it gives a superior audio, especially when compared to in-camera audio that, well, most uploads will use. The separate Zoom H1 will give a very faithful stereo reproduction. Let's enjoy Home by Ohly.
Woke up from a whisper, collared shirt down by my feet, stood on crowded bathroom rug, voices filled the rooms upstairs. Our Ford was warm before we drove. Breakfast fresh on the stove. She walked out with the floral blouse. Back then, everyone was near. Eyes focusing on me. Lukewarm coffee for the road. My car was cold till 59. It seems now I'm alone. We'll be home again. Hold on, we'll be home again. Hold on, we'll be home again. Hold on, we'll be home again. We'll be home again.